Hello. The path that leads to truth is littered with the bodies of the ignorant. Miyamoto Musashi. This is a philosophy that applies to all facets of life, and so when we see this, movements that look strange and exaggerated and practical to anyone who's trained a functional discipline, honestly, I become concerned because if these men were to get into an actual altercation, sometimes life does happen, they would probably get injured worse. Their students could all the same. That's not an idea I'm very fond of. I do not wish ill upon anyone. But this leads to another question. How do styles like these come about? It's definitely a byproduct of one's imagination. We by virtue are creatures of imagination, creatures who like to conjure illusions in our minds, and that is not a bad thing. It has led to great works of fiction, and it has led to innovations in understandings, but the problem lies not in dreaming, but instead not hammering to test our own illusions. Hammering to test our thoughts against the harshness of the elements to see if they stand firm. That is why in competitive arenas such forms are rare. Even though no technique, concept, or ideology is perfect, there are ones that simply hold ground more consistently than others. So then, why do these men go along with this flow with little trial and error? The honest truth is, flow feels really good. When you dance, move your body, and envelop yourself in the moment. Simply put, it feels amazing. And as you envelop yourself in this creative state, you keep elaborating upon the task, feeling more euphoria and meaning, when in truth, little has actually been done. Flow, to the best of my understanding, is just a more fluid transition between one's habits. That can be very beneficial if the habits formed are grounded in reality, but if it is grounded in one's ego, grounded simply in a desire to feel good over a desire to be effective, this is what happens. This is when our feelings become dangerous to ourselves. This innately insinuates that pain and study must be paid before we allow ourselves to be carried by flow. Not just from good teachers, but through examination of ourselves, developing an awareness of ourselves, because in truth, we are all different. Thus, there will be nuances that simply apply more to us than others. Adapt what is useful, reject what is useless, and add what is specifically your own. Bruce Lee. Innately, this creative expression is necessary, but when it's left unhinged, not hammered for the sake of preserving the euphoria evoked, one day I fear it may all collapse over them. Again, I do not wish ill upon anyone, but it appears to often be an inevitable outcome. That said, our feelings are important. After all, they are what make life feel meaningful, but it appears that the game we play is a balancing act. In order to justify feeling good, we must first endure pain. Subjecting our illusions to the harsh elements of nature, it is necessary even if it does not feel good at first, because through that process, its promise becomes confidence, thus a calm content through that confidence. The alternative, though, is an ego that fosters arrogance, which is insecurity. It will make any excuse to defend its illusions up until the whole structure collapses. It becomes a story of whether you're willing to suffer in order to feel content for your present experience, or if you will choose a fleeting momentary pleasure with a consequence of perpetual misery following thereafter. The choice is ours. To refine the right habits to flow through based upon diligent study, trial and error, or to just dance for the pleasure evoked. Honestly, both are valuable, for the dancers are the ones who bring new, raw material to a test. But again, it becomes a question of if they're willing to risk their illusion, hoping it grants them more than a fleeting pleasure, trading that for long-term content and confidence instead. To that end, I hold no ill will to these men. Who knows, maybe there is a nugget deep within their illusion that could be forged into something valuable. But again, for that to happen, someone must pick up the hammer.